being authentic and vulnerable, that is a good sign of good leadership. Contrary to what you may think, it is not weakness, it is power.
Let me introduce you our next speaker. So Céline Imbaud. So Céline founded ITC in 1999, building a global presence with offices in France, Canada, and the US. As an entrepreneur, she has experienced both successes and challenges, each shaping her vision and her approach. Driven by a passion for people, linguistics, and innovation, and how they intersect, Céline offers a fresh, thought-provoking perspective on the transformation reshaping our industries beyond the usual narrative. Céline, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yep. So Charles Darwin said, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." Change. Now, I'm sure that's a term that triggers a lot of emotions in you with all the changes that we have experienced in our industry. And for about 2 years now, it's all about AI. What do clients want? AI, AI, AI. Our competitors use AI, so we want to use AI. So I founded my company in 1999, so I have over 25 years of experience in this industry. And this is the first time that I have found myself worried about the future. And if I'm being authentic, I do worry about what's going to happen next. And most of all, I worry about my team, and I see my team getting worried. So how do I cope with that feeling? Well, I read a lot of articles, blogs, presentations, and I'm trying to take control over that fear. But I have not found that it does take the worry away. So this talk is not about what AI can do for your businesses or for your companies, because you're going to find everything you need here at GALA. But I'm going to share my secret weapons that AI will never have. So I haven't heard many CEOs talking about how these changes affect their morale. It is not easy to hear clients telling you that they want to cut costs, that they want to use those free tools, or as one of our long-term clients recently told us, "Why do we still need you?" Okay, I'll admit it, I have lost sleep over all these changes. So I feel we have two options here. And let me tell you a little story. Why? Because it inspired my secret weapon. So a few years ago, I met this big shot CEO in Paris. At the time, he was managing several hundred employees. So we met, and he talked to me about how great his clients were, how great his team was, how great his vendors were. As he was talking, I could feel myself going lower and lower in my chair. And so when he finally stopped and asked me how I was doing, I could picture in my brain a fork in the road. Or as we say in French, j'étais à la croisée des chemins. One option would have been to upbeat what he had just said. My clients are greater, my vendors are better, my team is greater, and trust me, I can do the show. Or I could tell the truth. Be authentic. So I did share that option. I did choose that option, and I did share my struggles, because at the time I was having some struggles with my team, with my clients. So the conversation continued, and guess what? After 2 hours of conversation, he confessed that when he has difficult meetings with his team, he walks out of the meeting room with tears in his eyes. So at last, we had an authentic conversation. And I learned so much from that. At that moment, everything changed. and I saw the power of authenticity. I walked away with ideas. I felt relieved because we were facing the same challenges. That gave me a huge boost. Being authentic and vulnerable, that is a good sign of good leadership. Contrary to what you may think, it is not weakness, it is power. And I had another serendipity moment last year when we were struggling with revenue decreasing. I'm sure some of you may relate to that. And I chose to stop pretending. I chose to share my vulnerability with my team. I did share that I was scared, that I was worried, that even I cried sometimes because it was so difficult to go through all these changes. I can see some faces here. You're like, what? You did what? Yes, I did. I did share that I was scared and worried. I didn't want to continue to pretend because pretending does take a lot of energy. So by doing so, my stress level went down. I felt less isolated. My creativity went up. My resilience went up. And most of all, I felt a lot of support from my team. Once again, I chose authenticity and vulnerability with my team as my best friends. My team is my best friend. And now I feel much more engagement from my team. I feel more connection with them. And most of all, I feel a lot more support and trust. And trust is exactly what we need as we're experiencing this huge transformation. Talking about the team, we do need to take care of them. As CEOs, we have no choice but to adapt to these changes. And if we are entrepreneurs, it is highly probable we even love those challenges. But are you sure your team is the same? Some may be smaller, not smaller, but slower at embracing the change. Some are scared. Some don't understand what's happening. So it is your responsibility as leaders to identify the various profiles. It is your responsibility as leaders to take the time to explain, to give more context, to slow down for those who need more time. But to identify these profiles, you need to feel them. And how do you feel them? By being authentic. When we lead with authenticity, we invite others to do the same. So 100% of your teams are humans, right? I'm assuming. But do your clients know that?
Yeah.
Do you include your team members in your discovery calls? Do your clients know the humans who are working in the background? I can tell you that whenever we do bring team members in client meetings, our clients, they just love that. They want to see real people. They want to relate to these people. And as you do so, they see you as a real partner. AI is a new tool. We've heard that many times already today. A tool cannot partner with a client. So finally, have you noticed that now that our clients are using those magical tools, the smallest mistake becomes unforgivable? When AI translation is perfect in the near future, let's be ready. Let's make sure that our clients relate to who we are and not as much to what we can do. The more AI we use, the more humanity we will need to succeed. There is no authenticity in AI. To err is human, and we learn from our mistakes. We grow from our mistakes. So now, I have shared my vulnerability and authenticity with you today. So please go out, do the same, and make your businesses thrive.
Well done. Well done, Céline, for sharing the vulnerability, authenticity. That's a theme after creativity and innovation this morning. We have authenticity in leadership. Well done. Do you have questions for Céline? Do you want to share how you have been doing with fear of change, how you've been dealing with your team members. We have microphones circulating, so if you want to ask your question.
I'm curious, when you're responding to an RFP, you mentioned putting your employees in your responses. How many of you are adding like fun facts about your employees to like be more human? I don't know. Curious about that.
Well, I will definitely talk about our team, because we feel like if we only talk about the salesperson, or, I know like engineers and developers are kind of the stars of the today's world, but, we need other people. So yeah, we don't share fun facts, but we do share, like, we do tell them who are the people who are going to be working for them. They need to see faces, where they're located, what is their background, so they can, again, relate to them better.
From a client side, we like to see how our vendors or suppliers behave with their team members. It tells a lot. So when you take your team members to sales meeting, you also give them the opportunity to shine, to learn. So what is the feedback of your team members when they attend or contribute to those sales meetings?
Well, I wish they could talk today, but I see that they because a lot of them, they feel like sometimes they work too much in behind the scenes. So when we show them to our clients, number one, they feel very proud of what they have to share. And then the clients have their answers right there. If you have the quality expert or vendor manager, whatever, well, the client who has like very specific questions, they can see that, oh yeah, there is a human actually working towards, finding the best vendors, or, assessing the quality of the work and so on. So I know I feel very proud when I see we have, so of course don't bring the whole company, because then there might be a little bit too much. But when you have, 5 or 6 people in front of the client, for number one, the client feels important. And number two, they see that, oh yeah, well, humans, they have feelings. They can ask very specific questions, but you can do a little bit of small talk, like to relate to, oh yeah, we went to the same university, or, that kind of things. And again, it's all about, of course, we love humans and so on, but it's all about clients relating to, like I said, who we are, and not so much for what we do.
Other questions? Yes, here.
Callum, so you mentioned the power of being authentic with your team. What about, let's say, with students who are studying to be translators or just want to get into the industry and become project managers? Would you share your fears and concerns about the business reality, how things are transforming? What would be your approach when speaking to them?
I would. But that's me. I'm very authentic, and sometimes too much. But no, I would definitely tell them what's happening so that they can be ready. Because what's the point of telling them that they're going to have, all kinds of job offers and so on, or it's going to be the way they were taught at the university, if maybe a year, 2 years, or 3 years from now, it's going to be so much different. So I would definitely be honest with them.
So you just mentioned the importance of being authentic, honest, to get the team ready for what's happening. And my question is, and what do you do to prepare them? In addition to being open and saying what your fears are, what actual activities do you have to prepare the team to be ready for the change?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty happy with everything I heard so far, because, and I'm not saying we're perfect, far from that, because like the keynote speaker, I make a lot of mistakes. Sometimes I have crazy ideas. So, but I'm trying to really involve them and give them as much information as much more than I used to. As a CEO, instead of saying, okay, we're going to go this direction and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, I'm trying to having them involved in the whole process. So, for example, we put together an innovation plan in our company, where everybody is invited to, bring any idea. So we have a set guidelines, obviously, because we don't, if someone says we want to be a dating app, no, I don't think we're going to do that. but you know, like, so we gave them some guidelines and really encouraging everyone to, you know, to become a part of the whole process, because we need everyone involved. You know, I cannot do it myself. So it's really keep sharing much more information than I used to, even financial information that maybe I didn't used to share that much. So they understand the whole concept of, you know, why is it that we're doing this? Why is it that I'm, you know, like sometimes so controlling, because when I'm scared, I'm getting controlling. So now they know. They know that if I'm sending too many emails, oh, okay, so Céline must be a little bit worried right now. So it's not me trying to check on them. It's just me, you know, trying to reassure myself, basically.
Do we have more questions in the room? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Céline, for showing me.